Guys, welcome. Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard that a driver ran into Joe Biden's barricade and crashed into it. So this is a headline I want you to see really quickly. It says Wilmington driver 46 who smashed into Biden's motorcade is charged with DUI as the cops say he accidentally plowed into the president's car. Now, I'm going to show you the video and you tell me, does he really plow into the president's car? This is where media are always trying to, twist the facts a little bit. So check this out. Now, the person this video in this asking initially about the polls and hear what he has to say.
Then why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
So you guys see how far away he was from Joe. Joe Biden looked like he pooped his depends. He did. Anyway, we've been talking about the military quite a bit, and it's scary because that's our defense, right? And the type of soldier they're getting, they're having a hard time with recruiting efforts and things like that. But there's this headline from Daily Mail that pops up: U.S. Army faces TikTok mutiny as Gen Z recruits whine about low pay, shitty food, and fitness tests while on base in uniform. So one of the posts I'm going to start off with here, I'll play it because I cut out the music. He had music on here. So this is Anthony Laster. He slams Army life for having no privacy. The pay sucks, shitty food, disrespectful leadership, no sleep, and has been viewed more than 600,000 times. He has more than 1 million followers on TikTok and has made public comments in uniform while on mission in the freaking desert. In another post, he claimed to have spent his whole day watching TikToks while supposedly fighting the Taliban. So what we have is soldiers making videos in uniform. Now this should be a no-no. I thought it was, but apparently they're allowing this sort of stuff to happen, maybe because of recruiting. They're having trouble. I've done countless videos on that about the problems with recruiting. They can't get people to join the military who would want to serve under Joe Biden. But anyway, could it be that, these platform links to China could be pushing this subversive anti-U.S. propaganda, anti-military propaganda? So these military influencers, they're pushing anti-military or U.S. military propaganda, and maybe that's why they're gaining such traction, because China owns TikTok and they're going to promote it to discourage people from joining the military. This is what you would call a psyop. This is something I think is much bigger than even what this article states about just people are complaining. I think that personally, China, who's in charge of TikTok, is pushing this anti-military propaganda to hurt recruiting numbers, retention, all those sort of things, and getting these guys that are complaining millions of followers to help do that. So essentially you're destroying yourself, and that's the thing. Whenever you're talking about a fifth generation war, you don't want to have to send soldiers to the ground. You want to destroy it from the inside out. And I think they've been doing that. They've been working on that. They've been hacking our systems and you name it. But some of the things that they're talking about is that not only recruits are not fit enough to join their, because their fitness is also declining once they're in the ranks, leaving officials scrambling to install weight loss programs. So this young lady right here, she made a post stating that don't join the Army until you're mentally prepared to be told you're going over and underweight, treated like you're not a good soldier if you can't run 2 miles in 18 minutes or less. Oh, and you can't get injured either, because then it's their fault. Let me tell you something. I'm 43 years old and I can easily run 2 miles in under 18 minutes. The sad fact is that your job is to be in the U.S. military, which, I mean, whenever I joined back in the day, you know, I knew that the physical fitness component was the key piece, and it always was, and always should be, because stronger people are harder to kill. You know, you want to be able to be physically fit. I mean, that's something that's always been associated with the U.S. military, in my opinion. If you look at any kids joining, like during my era, they're all working out, getting in shape. But some of the other criticisms are that they said that they were having to remain below a certain weight, harsh treatment from their superiors, and having to perform menial tasks instead of engaging enemies on the battlefield. That's part of the military. What did you think you were joining? You thought you were joining freaking Goldman Sachs, Forbes? I mean, I don't know what these kids think. They're going to be a CEO or something when they join the military. You're going to do menial tasks. You're going to be cleaning. You're going to be doing all those things along with engaging enemy. You're going to do those, especially at lower ranks. And staying in shape and being a certain weight should just be general principle for Americans. I remember JFK trying to start the whole physical fitness programs in school. And, you know, if that would have continued, we'd have a much better America today, in my opinion. You wouldn't have all these attention deficiencies and all these other weird things, this depression that kids are having. Physical fitness cure is a cure-all for all that. But, you know, you have these people that join the military knowing that it's going to be, they should know. I mean, at least watch some freaking movies or something, you know, cleaning with toothbrushes and what have you. She says, if you see this is your sign out to join the military. This is Dana Estrella, makes content to advise against joining and before signing up. This guy right here, 3 reasons you may not want to join the military. He obviously, this is a sergeant. This is a freaking sergeant. And he's on base posting in military uniform, and he looks like he's overweight. He should be, instead of posting these TikToks, he should be going out for a freaking run. Don't join the army for the pay. Obviously, we all know that. You shouldn't join the military for the pay. It is not something you do for the pay. It's for serving your country, right? But I've got 2 other videos. I'm going to show you two other guys, and we'll play these real quick.
Top 5 reasons on why you shouldn't join the military. Reason number 1 is pay. We do not get paid enough for what we do. I'm not here to say that we get paid pennies. I'm just saying that we don't get paid enough to perform the mission that is tasked to.
This is where the younger generation is a me, give me mentality, whereas you're serving your country. It's not about me. It's about serving the military. The last thing I did when I joined the military was think about how much money I'd be making.
Reason number 2, family. You will not see your family often. You might see them on holidays, and that's about it.
Also given, I only saw my family on some holidays, not even all of them, because most of the time I was freaking deployed or living out in the woods. So I barely saw them during those holidays even. But the thing is I knew that whenever I signed up, that term of enlistment, I probably would be gone quite a bit, you know.
I can elaborate. Reason number 3, schooling. Now I know you're like, whoa, that was a benefit, but it's requirements you have to meet first to be able to get to that schooling. So if you're thinking about joining because of schooling, just go to school.
I agree with that. If you're joining the military to go to college, wrong. Go to college. Go to school after, like I did. I was an old man going to freaking college. You went with my GI Bill. Go to college, and that be what you want. If that's what you want to do, it's not joining the military.
Reason number 4, if you're a parent. Now, if you join single and get married and then have kids, that's one thing. But if you're already having a child and you're thinking about joining, don't. You got to think about it. Boot camp is between 6 to 8 weeks. After boot camp, you go to school. That's between 10 days to a year. After that, you go to deployment. That's between 8 months to 9 months. Think about how much time you miss with your child.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, maybe that's not something you want to do if you're a single parent. You don't want to join because you are going to be away from your kid quite a bit on deployments, etc., this and that. Again, it's one of those things where you're signed up for the U.S. military and you have certain obligations you're required to do. This is part of your responsibility when you swear the oath and all these sort of things. This is something you should know. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. Maybe it is because the recruiters probably don't tell the truth these days. Here's another video.
You shouldn't join the army.
Why you should not join the motherfucking army. Number 1, I know what y'all want to hear to pay. Starting off, like, first, like E1, I'm pretty sure you're making like $1,600 a paycheck, and that's like not Not well,
I mean, that's way more than I made as E1. But the thing is, I mean, obviously inflation and such. But the thing is, you're not paying for, because you're living in the barracks. You're not paying for meals. Great, insurance, these sort of things. Out in the real world, I think a lot of people get the awakening of reality. But I would say that that's good pay. I mean, man, you're unskilled worker essentially. You know what I mean? They trained you, but if you go out in the workforce, you'd be lucky to make that, to be honest with you, at 18 years old.
like taxes, state taxes, your GI Bill coming out. That shit not free. You got to pay for that. Definitely. Number two, this shit is very goddamn like physically demanding, and the fucking Army don't give a fuck if you fucked up. You better show up to PT, goddammit.
That's somewhat comical to me, because I know the just regular Army isn't that difficult PT wise. Like complaining about that is pretty comical.
All right, addiction, bro. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, everything. You're gonna be addicted to it. Everything.
I can attest the man is telling the truth of that. You will be addicted to all of those.
You might have some fucking like NCOs, officers that might power trip, and you can't do nothing. Especially like you lower enlisted, you can't do nothing. In the military.
Another fair point. There are a lot of power trips in the military. Bad leadership that makes it up to the ranks. It happens, But anyway, a question that could it be that they're recruiting the wrong type of soldier? We've seen them using woke advertising campaigns focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as drag shows for troops on base, on ships, and things like that, to appeal to Gen Z. Maybe that could be the problem. They're appealing to the wrong type of individual, that the demands they're trying to give them is just not fit, which is also weakening our country. The Army apparently has a 5-year plan in place to become a model of example of diversity, equity, and inclusion, with the blessing from the White House. Again, when you're looking at the U.S. military, you're looking at defending the nation, I think those should be not even on the list. I was going to say like low, not even on the list, because you want people that want to be there. You want people beside you, to your right and your left, and when things go down, that these people are going to be willing to shed blood for you. And if you're coming into that mentality and you have people that are complaining, yeah, man, look, every day in the military isn't a good day. There's a lot of sucky times, a lot of them, but it's part of the thing. And once you get older, you appreciate all of that. You appreciate the hardships, the BS you had to do, and all those sort of things, as well as the good times, and the bad leaders and stuff. That'll be something you joke about. You're going to have bad leaders out in the real world too, though. I promise you. The bad leaders out in the real world will not even compare to the ones you had in the military, because in the military, the bad leaders still had some sort of code, but out in the real world, it's not the case. There is no code. It's all about individual self, these sort of things. And so you're going to run into these sort of things, because this is a human trait versus a military trait. The thing is, I think a lot of these young folks here that are complaining, they haven't tasted the real world to begin with, so they have nothing to base it on. I've been in both, and I will say this, that the real world is much more nasty than what the military is. And I think that when you're trying to survive at 18 years old by working, let's say a labor job, making very, very little, you're going to come out much better being in the military, especially if you don't have any other drive in life, because you're going to learn skills, you're going to learn leadership, you're going to learn how to work as a team, you're going to learn discipline, you're also going to learn to work in adverse conditions, because everything's going to go your way all the time. But I think a lot of it has to do with the leadership in the military. There were people that in my day that motivated me and that I wanted to emulate. I wanted to be like mentors and such. But today you have these new type of military where there's just not that there. But I also wanted to say this too, is that around 23% of soldiers are registered as obese in 2021, according to a study. So, we have a tremendous amount of problems with that. We have an obesity problem in America, and you just walk down the street. And a lot of it comes from processed foods and such, and just lack of discipline. And, you know, people with people having the victim mentality and me. You know, like I said last night in the video, that America's gone. America's gone to me on a lot of different levels, but more importantly, on the individual level, the individual person. You know, just a few days ago, I was at the grocery store and I was walking across the, as soon as you come out of the grocery store, and there's a lady over here, and she almost got hit by another lady driving. You know, usually, like, I'm from the South, you know, we have manners. You know, you freaking stop the car, let the person walk across, you hold the door open for folks and things like that. You nod your head to other men, say, how you doing? These sort of things. And the lady almost got hit, and she threw her hands up, and I said, yeah, people just aren't nice or considerate anymore, are they? And I think a lot of it just comes down to the way the world is today. And I'd be curious to know if it's like that in other countries. So if you're in another country watching, please let us know. Has just, you know, being cordial just went out the window, but no manners, no mentors, these sort of things. Mom and dad are too busy on TikTok themselves and raise their children. Anyhow, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. And if you're currently in the military, let me know what your thoughts of is it the leadership? What is it that's causing this? Anyhow, guys, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance, and remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.